Hey, welcome back to Too Pretty to Be Depressed. Today we're going there. How daddy issues don't just mess up your relationships, but they sneak their way into your parenting too. Fun, right? It's like a toxic ex you thought you'd block showing up uninvited at your kid's birthday party. Now, before you panic, this isn't about shaming anyone. We're talking about awareness, breaking cycles, and learning to be better for our kids and ourselves. Plus, I'll be spilling my own tea because trust me, I've been there. Growing up without my dad, I swore my kids would never feel that kind of emptiness. So when I became a mom, I did kind of go full helicopter mode, and I still am going full helicopter mode. I'm always around, I'm always saying yes, and I always make sure that they have everything I didn't. Kind of sounds sweet, right? Boy, was I wrong. Turns out you can't protect your kids from every little thing without driving yourself insane. I have always been that mom who would pack a full suitcase for a day trip, to the park, snacks, first aid kit, backup snacks for the snacks, and my kids would be like, Mom, it's just swings and slides, relax. I would shower my kids with love and affection, kisses, love notes in their lunchboxes, even when they were like, Mom, chill. I thought if I smother them with enough love, they'll never feel the void I felt. But sometimes too much of a good thing is, well, too much. I still am that mom that overpacks, like I said, snacks, even for other people's kids. If the forecast says possible rain, I will show up at practice with a lot of ponchos for the entire team. At this point, I'm not trying to be a good mom. I'm just trying to prove to myself that I'm not like my dad. I know probably when I look back, I will see me running around like a lunatic carrying 12 bags to the park while yelling, who needs SPF 50? Meanwhile, my kids are like, Mom, we're just here to play tag. I'm a mom, a momager, personal chef, therapist, occasional referee, and basically I am Kris Jenner minus the millions. One time I hugged my son so much before school, he literally said, Mom, you're crushing my vibes. Crushing his vibes. At 8 years old. I didn't even know what vibes were when I was 8. The thing is, we all think we're nailing this parenting thing, but nobody really actually has it figured out. I mean, I basically was like, look at me, I'm the opposite of my dad. My kids are never gonna feel unloved or abandoned. But in reality, I was just teaching them that life comes with a personal concierge service. At the time, I didn't realize that I was doing too much. I wasn't giving my kids a chance to figure things out on their own. Turns out, parenting isn't about everything. It's about being enough. And let me tell you, that's a lot cheaper than buying a poopsie slime surprise. Looking back, I might have gone a little overboard, but hey, my kids will never write a memoir called Mom Loved Me Too Much, right? At least I hope not. And if they do, I'm blaming TikTok. Because your mental health deserves more than a bubble bath. Let's be real, some days you need more than a glass of wine and a Netflix binge to feel okay. That's where Aurora Recovery Cold Plunge comes in. Picture this, you in an icy plunge, instantly zapping your stress and waking up your brain like boom! No, it's not just cold water, it's a full body reset. Cold plunging has been proven to reduce anxiety, boost your mood, and make you feel like you've got your life together. Plus, it is actually cheaper than therapy, and it doesn't ghost you. So if you're ready to feel alive or just shock your system in the best way, check out Aurora Recovery Cold Plunge. Alright, and now I'm talking about breaking the cycle. First step, know your triggers. For me, it's feeling ignored. When my kids are like, Mom, not now, I'm instantly 10 years old, sitting at a window, waiting for my dad to show up. Except now, instead of crying, I snap back with, fine, I'll just remember this when you want something. Real mature, right? Here's what I'm learning. Pause before you react. If you're about to go nuclear over a spilled drink or a messy room, ask yourself, is this really about them or is this about me? 9 times out of 10, it's about me. Breaking the cycle isn't just about what you stop doing, it's about what you start doing. I want my kids to see what healthy looks like, even if I didn't have that growing up. That means apologizing when I mess up, showing them it's okay to cry, and letting them see me take care of myself. And sometimes that means that self-care looks like locking myself in the bathroom with a face mask and glass of wine while yelling, Mommy's meditating! Here's the truth. You're going to mess up. I mess up daily. But parenting isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. And every time you show up for your kids, even when it's hard, you're already breaking the cycle. Remember, your past does not define your future. You are not your parents, and your kids aren't you. You have the power to rewrite your story for them and for yourself. The truth is, a lot of these over-the-top reactions that we all go through aren't really about my kids. They're about the stuff I didn't get as a kid. Feeling ignored, unimportant, or not good enough. That stuff has a way of sneaking into your parenting, no matter how much you think you've moved on. I've started apologizing to my kids when I overreact. I've been showing them it's okay to mess up. As long as they make it right, it's way more valuable than pretending that we're all perfect. Parenting with unresolved trauma is like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. Messy, frustrating, and sometimes you end up crying on the floor. But here's the thing, as long as you keep showing up, apologizing, and trying to do your best, your kids will see that. Honestly, I think my kids should give me a standing ovation after every day. They don't know how much emotional landmine dodging goes into me losing my cool over all their toys. But hey, what's wine and therapy for, right? Just because life is stressful doesn't mean your skin has to show it. Okay, we all know stress shows up on your face faster than an axe at your favorite coffee shop. That's why I love Go Pure Skincare. This line is like a spa day in a bottle. No shady chemicals, no BS, just clean, effective products that make your skin say, who? Me? Stressed? Their vitamin C serum is my holy grail. It brightens, hydrates, and basically erases all evidence at that 3 a.m. stress spiral. The best part, it's affordable, so you don't have to choose between self-care and groceries. Head over to the link in my bio and get 20% off your first order, because glowing skin is the ultimate flex, even if your life is a little messy. Okay, so we've talked about overcompensating and losing our cool. Now let's shift gears and focus on the good stuff. How we can parent in a way that heals both of us and our children. Because let's face it, the last thing we want is for them to end up on a podcast someday talking about us. One day, after another meltdown over something small, pretty sure it was a missing shoe, I sat my oldest down and said, look, I need to tell you something. Mommy's still learning. Sometimes I get mad about stuff that really isn't about you. And it's not fair. I'm sorry. You want to know what my kid said? It's okay, Mom. I still love you. Cue the tears. Like ugly crying. The kind where your face turns red and you're gasping for air. But then it hit me. This is what breaking the cycle looks like. Being real, being vulnerable, and showing your kids that it's okay to mess up as long as you own it. You ever yell at your kid and you immediately hear your mom's voice come out of your mouth? It's terrifying. Like, wait a minute, I've seen this movie before, and I hated it. That's when you know it's time to hit pause and figure out where that reaction came from. For me, it's stuff like saying, because I said so, when my kids ask why they can't do something. Growing up, that phrase drove me nuts, but now I'm over here acting like it's my family motto. You can't pour from an empty cup, but nobody tells you that parenting sometimes feels like pouring from a cracked, leaky Solo cup. That's why I've started treating myself the way I wish my parents had treated me. It's not easy, but it's definitely necessary. If I mess up, instead of beating myself up, I'll say, you're doing the best you can. You're still a good mom. Basically, I talk to myself like I talk to my kids. I'm not just breaking the cycle, I'm showing my kids how to break it too. Like if they're upset, I don't just tell them to calm down. I'll say, let's figure this out. Why are you feeling this way? And yes, sometimes that means sitting on the floor and talking about how losing their favorite crayon is the literal end of the world. But hey, emotional intelligence starts somewhere. I used to feel guilty for taking time for myself, like every minute away from my kids was me failing them as a mom. Now I'm like, Mommy's going to the store alone. I love you, but if you ask me for one more snack, I'm going to lose it. And you know what? They survive. Barely, but they do. Healing isn't perfect and it's not quick. Some days I'm nailing it and other days I'm crying about the fact that I ran out of coffee. But every step I take toward being a better parent feels like a tiny act of rebellion against the trauma I grew up with. And honestly, that feels pretty damn good. My kids aren't going to grow up with a perfect mom, and that's fine. What they're going to grow up with is a mom who shows up, apologizes when she's wrong, and loves the hell out of them, even if it means occasionally losing her cool over a missing shoe. If that's not progress, I don't know what is. You see these moms with these perfectly styled kids, spotless kitchens, and captions like, just whipped up a 3-course meal after running a marathon. Meanwhile, I'm over here bribing my kid with Oreos to let me pee in peace. At the end of the day, my kids aren't going to look back and say, wow, Mom really nailed that birthday party theme in 2023. They're going to say, Mom always made me feel loved, and she had some seriously bad dance moves. And honestly, that's good enough for me. Letting go of perfection doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you start focusing on what really matters. Showing up, being kind to yourself, and knowing that love is enough, even if the cupcakes aren't blue. So, what did we learn today? Daddy issues show up in your parenting in ways you'd never expect it. Like losing it over a green cup, trying to out-Pinterest the internet, or turning a water balloon fight into a slapstick comedy routine. Like I keep saying, you don't have to be perfect to be a great parent. You just have to keep showing up. My best parenting style can be described as chaotic good. But at the end of the day, my kids love me for me, even if I dance like a drunk aunt at a wedding and burn cookies like it's my hobby. Parenting with unresolved trauma isn't easy, but every time you break a toxic cycle or apologize for overreacting, you're giving your kids something you never had. And that's a real win. So, to all my perfectly imperfect parents out there, let's keep trying, laughing, and maybe even crying in the pantry. We're all doing the best we can, and sometimes that's more than enough. But hey, if you need a break, go hide in the bathroom with a snack. I won't judge. Next week, we're diving into the wonderful world of mom guilt, because what's parenting without a little side of shame? I'll be sharing some of my most hilariously cringeworthy moments, so stay tuned. Until then, remember, if your kids are fed, loved, and only slightly traumatized, you're crushing it. And if all else fails, there's always wine and therapy. See you next time on Too Pretty to Be Depressed. Make sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Seriously, your reviews are like a little virtual hug that remind me why I'm doing this. And if you know someone that could use a laugh, a cry, or a reminder that they're not alone in this wild parenting journey, send this episode their way. Let's keep breaking generational curses and maybe a few wine glasses while we're at it. Until next time, stay pretty, stay messy, and don't forget, you're doing better than you think. See you soon.